Bwah! G'day trendsetters, Greg here from Fishbait Films and welcome back to episode 16 of the BNSF Birdwood Sub. Well, it's been a while again. How slack is that? And now, well, you can see we have some more scenery. As trendsetters, can you hear me over the dash too there? This is the grain facility that will be very busy. This plays an integral part of the layout, because as you know the layout is biodiesel based. So grain is a huge part of that. We need grain for the ethanol and for the vegetable oil that will be turned into biodiesel. So this is a big facility, and these cardboard tubes here are builder's plastic. They're about 1/4 inch thick, and they've got a really nice texture on them, so I think they'll come up quite well as hoppers or silos. Just need to put a top on them. So Vinny, are you paying attention? You'll be doing a build for the headers on top of these, or whatever you call it, the roof section or whatever. So let's have a look at the grain facility and see what else has been happening on the sub. Now here's an overview of the facility. There's 2 storage tracks like arrival and departures and 2 loading tracks. Now I was going to have a runaround track here, but the curb was pretty tight, which I'll show you in a minute. And also, of course, with the runaround track you lose one whole track to get the loco around, so I've decided it'll be a push-in job, a back in and a drive out. So I would have liked to be able to drive the train in and run the locos around and get them out, but you lose a full track, so that's okay. It'll still be fun. As you can see by the lines here, there was going to be a curved turnout here and a bit of a lead track up here, but of course you lose one whole track for storage, so I've decided to bring this out straight a little bit here, and this one will come around and do something here. I don't know, it's yet to be finished, but so we can store probably about 20 cars in here, so I think that's pretty good. Now of course with multi-deck layouts you always have the problem of what you do with the top here, so I'll be asking for some suggestions from you guys and girls. Do I make these a little bit shorter? I still want a header on them, or a roof section. I forget what the term for the top is, so these will have to come down obviously. And this beam here, this support timber here, I don't know what to do about that, but anyway, we're hiding it nicely with one of the silos. Of course there'll be a flat bottom on here to replicate a slab of concrete, so they'll be up off the ground a bit. And the lead shunt is quite long, so that's good. That runs right around and joins the main line opposite the entrance to the West Birdwood Yards. The entrance to the grain facility is this track here, and this is West Birdwood Yard in here. Now some people have said, why didn't I bring this track straight into the yards? Well, now to get to the yards from the grain facility you have to go around the whole layout, so that provides a nice long run for the local trains rather than just skipping across here, trendsetters. Now in episode 15 we were talking about turning this turnout around, switching it around. It used to come out this way. Now we've sent it back this way into our new, another new facility down through here, which we'll have a look at. Now when we were talking about this last time I did say it was going to be a potash facility, but I've changed my mind now. It's going to be the DDG facility, or the dry distilled grain facility. And the reason why I changed it is because the potash serves the biodiesel plant, which is also on this lower level of the layout. So I don't want potash only doing a short trip, it's got to go a long way. So the dry distilled grain is all the husks that the methanol plant and the vegetable oil plant have left over from squashing the grain. And the DDG comes back in those really big ACF hoppers, the Trinity hoppers, 4-bay ones, and that gets processed into animal feed and other stuff. So that's coming from the top of the layout, so it'll have to come all the way down and turn out back to here. In the last episode we talked about the new runaround track that you can see there in the yard, and the new tunnel portal. Well, we've now finished the woodwork underneath, and that will now be our, as I just mentioned, our DDG, our dry distilled grain area. Now Vinny, this is another job for you, mate. We need to work out how we're going to blend this facility here into the top here. I did talk about maybe some doors or something and tracks going into here. So I'm still organising how to organise the tracks around here. can get two nice long tracks on here and here. So I'm wondering whether this could be maybe a awning or something, and the building starts further back in here. Anyway, that's a bit of the way off yet. But we can fit 4 tracks in here. These 2 front tracks are a length of track long, so you can put about 4 cars on there, I suppose, and then maybe 3 or 4. So you'd probably get, about 15, 16 cars in here maybe. So yeah, also we have a lead running back, so you can do a bit of switching in here as well. So there's another thing that's happened, trendsetters. Oh, more scenery, trendsetters. Actually, this is the same bridge that I put in up on the top level, which has been removed because I've rearranged the track up there. We'll go up and have a look at it in a minute. This is the old Atlas bridge that I had up on the top level of the layout, and the track work has been redesigned up there. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And I've got some information from Paul, and he's done a really nice weathered bridge on his layout, and he's putting a video up hopefully soon, Paul. But anyway, I just had a quick go. This is my first attempt. It's all right. Just with a grey wash to bring out the rivets and to dull the black paint down a bit, and then just a bit of rust weathering powder and a couple of other things. It's all right. Looks better than it did before anyway. So this has been put in behind West Birdwood Yard, where there was a gap, but I moved the gap along a little bit into the straight a little bit more. So it's looking a lot better than what it was. And also I mounted it correctly. I tried to find, trendsetters, a video on YouTube on how to install bridges, and I couldn't find one, so I think I'll do one. Getting all this part right and how to put it so it looks prototypical. I originally had the bridge sitting on top of the cork, which you shouldn't do, and now I've got the proper, I suppose I could put some little feet in there, but anyway, it's mounted better than it was up top previously and looks a lot better. So this is where the single truss bridge was sitting here. It will be replaced by 2 plate girder bridges side by side here, and I'm going to have to do like a maybe a brick wall or something, because this top track is very close. So it'll be maybe a brick or stone wall, concrete maybe. Thoughts, gentlemen and ladies, about that? Now the reason why this is going to 2 tracks is because I've changed the configuration on how the yard comes out, so we'll have a look at that. Right, now originally the yard was going to come out of here and go onto the main line, and it had 2 choices. It could either go down the helix or do another loop around the top level and then go down the helix. Well, that's no good, trendsetters. We want to force trains to go around the top level to give them an extra about 25 minutes of run time. So, to make things a little bit more interesting and longer, I have installed, which I bought for the temporary layout, which cost me a lot of money, so why the hell I'm going to use it, trendsetters. This crossover, this diamond here. So now trains will leave the yard through this diamond, and this is the main line here. They'll leave through this diamond and it will put them down across next to the main line, and they won't be able to get onto the helix. They'll have to do a complete loop of the layout, come back on this track, then go across the plate girder bridges and head down to the helix. So looking from this end, once a train goes across the diamond, comes down on this back track here, because it can't get onto the main, and goes onto this track here, which loops around and gets it back up on this passing loop up top here, forces it to go around the main, and then comes back down on this front track, and we'll go down the helix. There will be a crossover here to go from the main line across to this loop track, but not the other way, trendsetters. So if you're on the main line, you can cross over here this way and go around and do another loop of the top level. But if you come out on this track, this rear track here from the yard, you can't go down the helix, you're forced to go around. So just a little bit more operation. Now that rear track from the yard, and also if you go through the crossover, gets you on that rear track there, takes you underneath the main line coming up from the helix, and puts you through the backdrop there, and we'll go the other side and show you where it comes out. And there it is, trendsetters. joining the helix there. It doesn't actually go on the helix though, it joins the main line coming up from the helix. And it comes out there and comes up the main line and joins it here in a crossover here. And this track then becomes a passing loop for the top level, and it continues round. It's a turnout going in here, comes back to single line and heads off towards summit. Well, trendsetters, there you go. At least now we've got some scenery so we can do some operating sessions, and it's always good to have a bit of industry happening. No matter how big your layout, I think you really need operation sessions. That's what really makes it more realistic. So anyway, no how-tos this time, but I'm sure I'll think of something to show you on the next one. So thanks for dropping by, take care, and we'll see you on the next update. Hooroo for now.